stage. First up, Dante Vasco! Sit like this. I'll lay down. I'll sit on your lap, Dante. We know each other well. I can see it. All right, let's get this started. So, new format for Fanexpo Dallas this year, in case this is your first panel. In an effort to get more fan questions in, we have pre-screened fan questions and had fans submit online, and so I have your pre-selected fan questions, which we will get to as fast as possible. So if you submitted a fan question, we will certainly give you a shout out. But Dante, what's up, man? How's it going?
It's going good.
I feel weird. Like I feel.
No, think about your chair. Look at that.
Oh, look at look at that.
Pull up a chair. Pull up a chair.
That's service. So Zuko's redemption arc is one of the most kind of iconic in animation. I think everyone would agree out here. But what is it like kind of bringing that complexity to life in an animated art form, and did you relate personally to any part of his inner conflict?
That's a heavy question. No, I don't know. I didn't know. I wasn't aware of what the arc was going to be when we started the show. I really thought I was coming on Nickelodeon to be the villain, and I thought that was cool. I was doing a show called American Dragon Jake Long on Disney. Yeah, shout out to Jake Long. And I was a hero on Disney. I thought it'd be cool to be the villain on Nickelodeon. But as the show started going on, to really see what was kind of unfolding was really magical. And I was really taken aback by how just how many layers the show had while we were doing it. But I really, at the same time, I didn't think too much of how the impact it was going to have on the world. But as far as me connecting with them, when I look back, when me and Janet Varney, the voice of Korra, were doing the podcast, Braving the Elements for Avatar Studios. Yeah, shout out to Braving the Elements. And so going back, I remembered a lot of things I personally, Dante, was going through, just trauma and family and things I was going through while I was doing it. So I think me and Zuko kind of intersected in my life at the right time.
Yeah. All right, Greg, Iroh is filled with wisdom. Is there a piece of Iroh's advice that personally resonated with you or that you live by, that you've taken into your own life?
You know, absolutely, I have an absolute favorite quote. It's actually from Korra, and you guys have all heard the story, and I'm just gonna hear it again. My wife and I, we lived in LA for 30 years. The kids were all grown, so we moved back to New Mexico, where I was born. And the plan would have worked perfectly, except we arrived in New Mexico on March 1st, 2020. So 2 weeks later, the world shut down. I distinctly remember I was tired of watching the news, so I had to get out, so I went for a walk, you know. I was walking around, and you know, I'm going home, what have we done? I have kids on the left coast and on the east coast, and it's like, there's no toilet paper, and we're all gonna die, and this is a terrible thing, and oh no! And I heard very distinctly in my head Iroh's voice from The Legend of Korra. If you look for the light, you will often find it. If you look for the dark, that is all you will ever see. And from that point on, that was sort of my COVID, actually even beyond COVID, it sort of became the quote that I always come back to when I'm having a bad day myself. And what I love about that quote specifically, and why it resonates with me, is because it involves an active choice. You could just say on the surface, it's just a way of saying, yeah, try and stay positive. But it involves a choice, if you look for the light. And if you make the decision to look for the light, and sometimes the dark is very safe and comfortable, but it's nice to get out of it. And once you do look for the light, you will find that we're literally enveloped by light wherever we look. Even at night, you can look up into the sky and see the stars. So I think of all the Iroh's quotes, and there are so many of them, that is when I'm having a bad day, that's the one I go back to.
Wow, that's so beautiful and powerful, and I love that was set up by a story about toilet paper. I love that you took us on that journey. Jack.
Yeah.
Sokka is the comic relief, but he's also the heart of the team in many ways.
Yes.
How much, I feel like you're already answering this question in the voices you're using. How much of Sokka's personality comes from you and who you are?
Sokka.
Sorry.
Sokka. Yeah, I mean, I definitely brought a lot of myself to it. There was a lot of playfulness to the records and stuff. We definitely Mike and Brian told me that they had a different vision for the character before casting me, and definitely wanted to lean into the comedy once they got me in there and were finding stuff. So that's, I try to bring that energy to everything I do.
Yeah.
I tend to.
You're saying you are Sokka.
A little bit. Yeah. So there's a similar impulsive curiosity.
Zach, how's it going way down there? Aang carries a weight of being the Avatar at such a young age. I mean, you started when you were 13 playing this role. It's an iconic character. I mean, you started voice acting when you were 8 years old. So how do you find that emotional depth as a young actor yourself? And was it like kind of growing up and growing into that character?
Yeah, I mean, being the same age as the character, minus 100 years, of course, that informed a lot of the way I approached it. You know what I mean? I was a 12-year-old. I only knew how to be 12, so it came very naturally, right? But in terms of finding the depth and putting myself in his position, it's tough. You kind of just have to get yourself there mentally, and I don't think, I've been very fortunate in my life. I never had to experience the type of loss that Aang had. So, just hoping that young me was able to do that justice. But it was just such a great experience, man. Just being a character on Nickelodeon was a dream come true for me. Especially being Aang, it's just very special and very fortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Michaela, we come to you all the way
so
there.
far away.
Yeah, so your character is tough and independent and so important for representation in the blind community as a female character. I mean, totally groundbreaking in so many ways. What did it mean to you to kind of voice such a strong character, but kind of also kind of bear that weight of what this character would mean to so many fans?
Yeah. First of all, I hear you, Melon Lord, fellow Melon Lord. I am Melon Lord. Have to get it out of the way every time. First of all, I'm just going to give extra love, and if we can do a little round of applause for Mike and Brian, just because they're incredible. We would not be here, and because of their writing, I really think that that's what made my job easy. And I guess I didn't feel like I was bearing a weight of a character because they gave me such a natural space to step into. I didn't feel like I was putting on a character. I was trying to be tough, or I was trying to be blind. These weren't things that were presented to me as archetypes to fill or archetypes to copy. So I think they did such a masterful job of creating these characters that made it easy for an 11-year-old, a 12-year-old to step into, because saying the lines and being sassy and just being the greatest earthbender felt very natural. And it's interesting whenever you see, there are some incredible kid actors who are obviously very palpably talented, but I think I only booked roles that were really well written because I think I auditioned better when the roles were well written. So I think it is a huge testament to Mike and Brian's creation of her, and without her being so naturally tough and naturally badass,